Hey everyone, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Corner of Craft podcast. I believe this might be episode 41, but I might have misremembered. It's very likely that I did. The Corner of Craft podcast is a podcast in which I talk to you about things that I've been knitting on, things I've been crocheting on, things I've acquired since the last time we chatted, and whatnot, basically, and also a little bit of what's been happening in my life, just in case that's something that you are interested in. For those who haven't been here before, like I have already said, my name is Hannah. I'm coming at you today from a very humid but cloudy Nottingham in the UK. Yes, and if you are back for yet another fun and exciting podcast with me, thank you very much. I'm glad that you find me entertaining, if not tolerable enough to come back every fortnight, which is how frequently I upload. Yay. So I hope you all have your beverages at the ready. I do. It's a red tea. Oh, it kind of matches my hair. Oh yeah, my hair changed colour. I really need to straighten it, but I've kind of abused it this past weekend with a lot of hairspray, dry shampoo and back combing. So it's a little angry at me, which is why it's a bit of a frizzy mess. But just put pink all over it, and I've washed it a couple of times since then. And so now it's kind of faded a little. But yeah, it's not very happy at the moment, but that's okay. So the tea that I'm drinking today is actually a tea that I've been sent by one of my friends, Blair. And it is red rose tea in the strawberry cheesecake flavour. And this is a tea from the States, I believe. Well, Blair's from the States, so I imagine you can get this in a lot of places. And I haven't tried it yet, but I've only just made it, so it's the temperature of the sun. So it smells incredible though. Strawberry cheesecake, fingers crossed, it will taste as good as it smells. Right, I actually have no finished objects to share with you. I had these great plans to get loads of stuff finished. But then I didn't actually finish it, so go me, I suppose. Yeah. So let's start with the first one. Living in my emerald fibres bag. Ta-da! I have my boardwalk blouse. Now this is made out of yarns from KNITCRATE. You're going to hear me talk about KNITCRATE a little bit, so I hope you don't mind. So it's made up of two colours. I've got this grey colour, which is Grey Twist, which is 40% merino, 40% Peruvian Highland wool, and 20% nylon. So that's this one. It's non-superwash, though it doesn't specifically say that it's non-superwash. I imagine it is because it doesn't say it is superwash, so. And then I've got this one. Oh, and that's by Labravis, the grey one. And then I've got this one, which is Vida Lana, and this is in the colour Bananas, and it's 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 10% cashmere. Both of them are 400 meters per 100 grams. And I am knitting a boardwalk blouse out of it. So the last time I showed you, I didn't put a progress keeper in, but the last time I showed you, I'd only done one, well, I'd only done the back, but now, I was partway through it anyway. Now I have a front to go with my back, and I've joined them in the round. I've done my arms are sorted. So what happens is you sew these up along the shoulders to create your own neckline, which is pretty cool. Do little ribbed sleeves. I went to Edinburgh this past weekend. You might hear me say this a lot. Yeah, and I took this with me with great hopes of finishing it on the long train ride. And then I didn't actually touch it. I took it with me and then didn't touch it. But yeah. I love how these yarns look together. So these yarns by KNITCRATE were the May and June membership box, in which you get 2 skeins of yarn. It can vary from month to month. KNITCRATE is a monthly subscription service. And these two, the May and June, just so happened to both be 4-ply yarns of the same yardage. And they look really good together. I love how this grey and yellow look together. Let's do this. Yes. So this, the boardwalk blouse is a pattern by Amy Apple. It's like a cropped blouse. And yeah, this will, I completely forgot to do admin at the top, so I guess I'll slot it in now. So I'm hoping to get this done by the 17th of August, because I'm currently hosting a knit along. It is the 50k sweater cal, and while this isn't technically a sweater, I'm being very lenient on my definition of sweater. I have already finished the cardigan that I was meant to be, or that I planned on knitting for the 50k sweater cal. I showed that off in my last podcast. But yes, I'm currently hosting the 50k sweater cal to celebrate hitting 50,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I decided to host a cheeky little knit along, and basically you knit a jumper or cardigan, adult size and upwards, or like teenage size upwards. I don't know, I can't remember the rules that I wrote them a while ago, but you can enter whips, and as long as you've got a bit more to knit than just a sleeve. And that ends next week, I believe, on the 17th of June. No, on the 17th of August, sorry. And I will be announcing the winners in my next podcast. So be sure to head on over to my Ravelry group, which is the Corner of Craft podcast group. Link can be found in the description. And be sure to enter your finished objects into the FO thread. And because I have a few prizes now, I think I may also draw some winners from the chatter thread. Seeing as I've got both of them there, it makes sense to utilise them both. So good times all round. Yeah. Oh, and if you want to follow me on social media, please feel free. Links can all be found in the description box below as well. Just because I didn't write show notes and therefore have forgotten how to podcast, basically. Go me. But yeah, maybe I'll even draw an Instagram winner. Why not? Got the prizes, may as well use them. So yes, be sure to post your makes with hashtag 50k sweater cal and enter them on Ravelry group in both the chatter and the FO thread to be in the chance of winning. Yay! Anyway, so I'm really excited to have this done. I think it's going to look real nice. I'm using higher sharps. What size am I using? I hear you ask. I'm using 3.25mm needles, and I'm going to have a lot of ends to weave in. Luckily, I don't mind doing that, so I might do some tonight. Weave a few ends in. I've got some cheeky little stitch markers to mark my progress on my decreases. This one is to mark the end of my round. My little chicken friend. Then I got my two dinosaurs. These are both from Yarnistry, and this was a gift. Oh, this was a gift from Bernadette. It is the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, and then I just got a generic one. Basically, I went into my stitch marker pouch and just grabbed the first ones that I could to mark where I am. So yes, I got a few more rounds of decreasing to go, and I got a ribbing to do, and I've got the shoulders to sew up and arm ribbing to do. I really need this finished because I also will be needing to do a test knit soon, and I will show you the yarn that I'm going to be using for that in a second. So the next whip, let's move on to a crochet whip. I know, you're surprised, I'm surprised, crochet. So last week I showed you this book, which was Edward's Menagerie. And oh, look at me, I'm so good. I am marking the page. I'm making this little fella. Don't want to actually show you the pattern. It's Chardonnay the pony. Just using one of my business cards to mark the page. But I'm actually going to do ultimate combo. So this is technically meant to be used double knit yarn or bigger, but it does also tell you what needle size to use if you want to use smaller yarn. And I had some scrap 4-ply yarn, as I'm sure a lot of you do. So I've decided to make a tiny one, a tiny unicorn. That's the aim. Someone commented on my last video, and I'm terribly sorry that I didn't make a note of her name, but they said that you can use the horn from the Highland cow to make a unicorn horn. And I had actually intended on making a unicorn before she'd commented that, and I'd already started it, so that's pretty good going. I haven't touched this in a while, but I've got a body, just like a pear shape at the moment. Oh, look how, by the way, now I've stopped working in cafes, look how long my nails are. It's incredible, I love it. Because it means I can wear nail varnish again, which means I don't work my nails anymore. So yes, I got this. I've actually stuffed the bottom of this guy with rice because I wanted to weight it down a little bit. I actually wish I'd used lentils or something because rice isn't as heavy. I wanted it to have a bit of weight to it, and I'm going to do the bottom of its feet as well. I've got the body, and I've started the head, and I'm actually, for one of the, if you've watched any of my past amigurumi videos before that I did on this channel a while ago, you'll be surprised to know that I'm actually using a stitch marker to mark the end of my round, because before I would just count and be fine with it. I know, but I've started the head. This is the back of the head, I believe, and then yeah, I am using a teeny tiny 2mm hook. It recommends using a 1.75, but I don't have a 1.75mm hook with a handle, but I do have a 2mm, so I went with that. It's a bit more comfortable on the hand if you've got a bit more to grip. And these are by Prim. These were a gift from one of my dear family members who is no longer with us. And yes, I've used this a lot for doilies, so it's very worn on the handle because I used to make a lot of doilies. So this yarn is Truly Hooked, and I believe the colourway is called God Save the Queen, and I made a hat from it. This hat, in fact. I bought this yarn at Bakewell Wool Gathering, and I made this sock head hat with it. Oh, I can't wait till hat season's back, because my god, I love wearing a hat. So yeah, this is the hat I made with it, and I had a bit left, so I thought, why not just make the tiny unicorn. And then I've got, this is going to be the base of the feet, the mane and the tail. This is also Truly Hooked in charcoal. And then my dear friend Becky sent me this mini, which is called Edison Bowl by Madeline Tosh Twist, and it's this obnoxious yellow colour, and she just sent me this mini with my Christmas presents to pop in my blanket. But I decided to use this for the unicorn horn because it goes so well with this, and yes, very excited. Need to get back on that because I haven't touched that in about a week. Yeah, good times. I'm just going to keep this hat on until I get too hot. Hope you don't mind. But yeah, I need to get back on that because I'm a bit worried I'm going to forget where I am, but I can always count rows. I'm competent sometimes. So the final whip that I have, I've actually made quite a dent on, because this is the one that I was working on the train, because it's the one that I fancied working on the train. So when I showed you this before, I only had a very small amount of the lace first section, and so now I'm on, I've just joined the light colour back on, and I'm going to do another eyelet section. So this pattern is the If I Want Exposure I'll Get My Tits Out shawl, and my goodness, what happened to those stickers? I don't think I can use them. Yes, If I Want Exposure I'll Get My Tits Out shawl. I've completely forgotten who it's by, but her Instagram name is Wallyhood NL. So yes. I left the pan downstairs. I'll put it on the screen. But yes, so you've got an eyelet, you've got this up close and personal. So the yarns that I'm using is Das Monschaf. This light, they're both on her Hydra base, which is 100% superwash merino. This light colour is Butterfly Effect, and this blue is Disc World. So you've got an eyelet section, and then you've got this bit, which is stocking stitch with some eyelets in the middle, and then another eyelet section, and then another bit here with some eyelets in the middle, and I'm just about to start another eyelet section, and then I believe you have one more of this, and then the end border. I'm really fed up with knitting this eyelet section now, but that's okay. Like, I have no reason to. It's not difficult. It's just, it's now just tedious, just because the rows are pretty long. It's frustrating. Oh, this is living in my Fringe Field supply bag with my whole host of badges on them. Yes, I am enjoying the pattern. I am enjoying it. It's really easy. You don't have to think about it too much. I knit this on the train quite a lot. But I do find myself getting very distracted as I'm knitting it. But yes, it isn't difficult. Right, so the current concern that I have, because I haven't done a whole host of lace knitting before, sewing in ends. Does anyone have any tips or videos you can point me towards on how I can sew in ends when it's lace like this? Because I don't know. Because I know how to sew in ends on garter stitch and on stocking stitch and on ribbing, but I'm not too sure how to sew in ends on this. I could always make it up and hope for the best, I suppose. That could work. Yeah. I just thought it would be a really nice summer shawl, which is perfect considering it's the end of summer. Next year, be good for next spring. Right. Ooh. Have a sip of this tea and see what's happening. It's going to be very strong. I left tea bag in. Oh, that is tasty. Blair, thank you so much for sending me this tea. My God. Oh, that is good. She told me not to put any sweetener in it because it's sweet enough, and I agree. It actually is definitely sweet enough and tastes exactly like a strawberry cheesecake, so who knew? That's really good. Yum. I'm glad I have a few more of those. Different varieties, but yeah. So yeah, so this is my If I Want Exposure I'll Get My Tits Out shawl. If you're wondering about the name, because you haven't watched the podcast before, I have talked about it on a few podcasts now. The Countess, aka Countess Ablaze, organised this charity movement, I guess you could call it, whereby dyers, pattern makers, stitch marker makers, all sorts of people came together and either dyed yarn, made stitch markers, designed pattern, where a percentage of the proceeds went to a charity of their choice. Now, the Countess recently announced how much money was raised through July for this, and the grand total was over £55,000. £55,000 in 1 month was donated to various charities across the world. What? £55,000. That is an obscene amount of money. You see? And it's all because of people like us who bought the patterns and the yarns and the stitch markers and contributed what they could, if they could, to various charities throughout the world, which is incredible. Incredible. It's baffling. If you'd like to know the final numbers in your currency, I have a feeling she did it in pounds, euros and US dollars, so whichever of those is easiest for you. Feel free to check out the Countess's Instagram, and it actually has announced what they are. Hi, my name's Hannah. I'm really good at words. Really good at words. Okay. That's it. Those more width. Oh, no, I lied. I've got one more. I've been meaning to show you this for a few weeks and I haven't done. And I'm actually midway through a square, but that's okay. This has just been my, when I'm up in bed not wanting to get out of bed yet knitting, or I want to go to bed early and watch TV upstairs by myself knitting. This has been my knitting, because this has just been living next to my bed. So you've not seen this in a while, but this is my Cozy Memories blanket. So I've not shown this. Ooh, I'm worried I'm going to drop some stitches. I've not shown this since this square here, and I go across, so I put a stitch marker on so we'd know. So da 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 da. I did some of these a while ago. I just haven't shown this in an age. So this is just using up scraps of 4-ply yarn that either have been used in projects that I've made or that have been gifted to me in or mini swaps that I've done. So you might recognise some of them. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So the pattern is The Coziest Memory. It is by Kemper Ray. I'm following the pattern to a T, except for the fact I'm using 2.5mm needles when I believe the original pattern calls for 2.75. So my squares are a little smaller. And something I've only recently started doing is I'm slipping the last stitch on the end of every row, and I started to do that halfway through this bottom row, purely because I started to do that here. It makes it so much easier to pick stitches up, and it makes a much neater edge. So I've started to do that now, but that's fine. It's not going to be consistent, but that's fine. Yeah. Oh no, I knew this would happen. I am using Higher Sharps for this, double pointed needles that I actually bought at Countess of Blazes shop. And I have a stitch marker that was gifted to me by my friend Rebecca when we stayed at her house in Edinburgh the first year. She is Songbead on Instagram. She makes real cute stitch markers. I believe this is peyote done with size 15 seed beads around a wooden bead maybe. I don't know, it's real cute. I like it. Might have to look into how to do them for myself. But yeah, it's just a mishmash of yarns in a variety of bases, and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on my 7th row in. Ta-da! It's a very slow process. I don't work on it all the time. I've not worked on it much this summer. Oh, my foot is dead. Due to it being hot. It's not fun to have a blanket on your lap when it's very warm outside. Okay, now that's all my whips. Okay, stash acquisitions. Let's get into stash fattening and also giveaway prizes. So the first thing I got the day after, actually, the day after I podcast last time, but I posted the video a bit later on the next week, was from KNITCRATE. My July KNITCRATE came through a little bit late. I think there'd been a problem with the system, and I'd sent them a message saying, hi, just wondered about it. If you've cancelled it, that's fine. Because KNITCRATE are generous enough, or I am fortunate enough, to be sent these goodies for free, to talk about them with you on the podcast and blah-de-blah. And they're so sweet as to offer you a whopping 20% off your first box, which is a huge number if you use Corner of Craft 20. Feel free to use the link in the description box below to take you over to the website and purchase your box of choice. I think you've got 3 to choose from. So you've got the KNITCRATE sock crate, whereby you receive 1 skein of sock weight yarn that will be suitable to use for socks, and you also receive a sock pattern. That one is, I think, only knit. Then the one that I receive is the KNITCRATE membership box, which is the next tier up. That one is $24.99, and that has free international shipping and free domestic shipping if you're in the States. Free shipping all around to everyone, which is pretty incredible. And in that you receive 2 skeins of yarn in varying colours and weights depending on the month's theme. You will also receive 2 patterns, one of which is knit and one of which is crochet. They say that the full price cost of the box would be $63, I believe, and they're selling it to you for $24.99. And then there's also the artisan crate, and you receive 2 patterns in there as well, and also 2 skeins of yarn from an indie dyer, and that one's a little bit more, I think, but once again, free shipping. So if you would like to treat yourself or have someone treat you to a knit crate, feel free to use the link in the description box below. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. It is an affiliate link. If you don't know what that means, that just means that when you purchase something through that link, and also when you continue your subscription on KNITCRATE, send a little bit of money my way, and help to support the channel and my business and me. It doesn't cost you any extra, and yeah, so that would be great if you could use my affiliate link. Also, because they give out perks to, sometimes give out perks to people that can recommend the most people to subscriptions. So if you're on the fence and you want to help me out a bit more, feel free to use that affiliate link. Oh, I felt so cheeky just then. That was like the cheekiest I felt in a really long time. That made me feel a bit awkward. I'm British, we don't like to ask for money. I tried to set up a Patreon once. It was a really uncomfortable video. Anyway, these are the skeins of yarn that I got. So this is in the colorway Paws Off. It's 100% superwash merino wool in a worsted weight, which is 164 meters per 100 grams. And this is by Knitology. Worsted weight isn't a common weight of yarn in the UK, or in Europe in general. You can get a light Aran or a heavy DK weight, but it's very rarely called worsted weight. So I was actually really curious to see how thick worsted weight is, because I genuinely didn't know. But yeah, it's beautiful colour, and like I said, this is in the colourway Paws Off. And you could have got 4 potential colours for this one. Like I said, this was the July crate. August crate also looks stunning, and once again there are 4 potential colours for that. They were all beautiful, but this one was just so me. Definitely have had my hair these colours at some point, for sure. So I think that this is going to be a nice crochet cowl. I think that will be nice and snuggly. Ooh, maybe a brioche cowl. Maybe I need to finish my whips and then cast this on, because that would be ace. KNITCRATE yarns. Oh, my nails match this one too. It matched the colour I had my nails painted when I opened them, matched it. And now I've got my nails painted a different colour and it still matches it. So that's cool. Okay. My foot is slowly going dead. The next thing I treated myself with was this little fluffy ball of fluff. It is Kid Silk Haze by Rowan. And I really hope I have enough for the pattern. I might not have enough for the pattern. I might have to buy another skein. This calls for 356 meters. I'm gonna have to buy another skein. Oh well, good job I didn't cast it on. But this is to go together with this. Oh, it's got my hair on it. This is Nora George Yarns in the eggnog colour, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I bought this at Nottingham Yarn Expo when I went last year. I thought that these two together would make a really cute hat, and I am going to be making the Hyde Park hat. And I've even printed the pattern out, and that's a pattern by Tristan Molina, who's Dragon Horde Yarn. You can't really see. It's cables, it's bobbles, it's beautiful. So I will be, is there another picture? There is. I'm trying not to show you any of the pattern. I printed it in black and white to save myself some money. So shoot me, you know. But yes, I might need to buy another one of these, so I have enough. We shall see. I will chat to her and see if she's the full amount. And then I received some goodies in the post. These are from the fantastic Barbara of Knitting I Love. she messaged me and she said, hey, can I send some things as knit along prizes? And I said, yes, you can. First of all, she sent me a fantastic little tea bundle. It's almost as though you all know that I love tea. Oh my god, such good tea. But yes, Barbara designs these beautiful tags and keychains and I think stitch markers as well for your knitting. So she sent along these. Oop. Let's do one at a time. So this one is for me, I believe. So it says socks and sweater. So you put them on your project bags. And then this one is for you, lovely lot. And that says hat and sweater. And then she also sent a bundle of, I don't want to open them and get them all out. I'm trying to spread them out as much as I can. A bundle of tags that you can sew onto your knitting once you've finished. So you've got the year, you've got the cat, you've got if it's hand wash. And then yeah. These are beautiful. And I think that they just finish off a lot of knits really nicely. So that is from knittingilove.com. So cool. I think it would just add a nice professional finish to your garments, your hats, whatever. It would look cute if you put one on the edge, if you had a little folded up brim, which is real cute. Then we got back from Edinburgh on Tuesday and I had a missed parcel thing pop through my door. So I went and collected them yesterday. And a couple of weeks ago, I received a message from a lovely lady called Amy, who asked if she could donate some skeins of yarn to the knit along as prizes. And I said, but of course. So here they are so beautiful. So these are Brighticus yarns. She is based in the UK. So this is Rainbow Reflection and this is Amethyst. They are both 4-ply yarn, approximately 400 meters per 100 grams. 75-25 superwash. It says 75 superwash, 25 nylon. So I don't fully know what kind of yarn that is, but it has my hair all over it already. They went straight in my giveaway box. They already have hair on them. But this is gorgeous shades of pinks and purples, and actually colour coordinates with my hair quite nicely. And then I love this one. So this is Rainbow Reflection, and it's just beautiful with the speckles. And I think they actually go really well together. I mean, that might just be me that thinks that. So I think I'll ship them off together to their new home. So be sure to enter the knit along to be with a chance of winning. Ding. But yes, so that is Brighticus yarns on Etsy. Wonderful. Back into the giveaway box with you. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, and then the last thing, as well as an abundance of tea that Blair sent me, I'm just gonna rustle. You are going to see me drinking these teas over the next few weeks. So I've got, see, this one I think might taste like the apple pie tea that I had in Germany. I don't know if you remembered that, because they did also have these flavours, but I never tried them. So I've got lemon cake and blueberry muffin. I received a chai ultra spice, and then I've got a buttermint, which will be nice later on, I'm sure. But Blair also sent me, oh, and a matcha green tea with Asian pear. Exciting. Blair also sent me some minis, so thank you very much for those. They will be going in my blanket. She sent 50 grams of Cascade 222, she says, with an unsure sound to her voice. Where is your letter? Doo-doo. Oh no, it's Patterns Croy sock yarn. And this will definitely be enough for me to get a pair of socks out of, with contrast heels, toes and cuffs, which is pretty cool. We'll be your sock twins. She also sent, oh, that's why I was thinking Cascade. She also sent me this beautiful skein of yarn, which is 50% llama, 50% wool, at 132 yards per 100 grams. Don't know what that is in meters, but it is very soft. And it's this beautiful blue colour. The colour is 085, apparently. I forgot how to. And it's Pastaza, made in Peru. So yeah, super soft. I think this might have to be a hat. She also sent this real cute Pusheen pen. And it's pastel Pusheen, and it's got cakes and ice creams on, and a little Pusheen dangly jobby. So that's real cute. I know that some of you don't really worry too much about this kind of stuff, but I love it because I knit a pair of socks out of a yarn by Truly Hooked called Unikitty, and Blair said she saw this and thought of that yarn, so that was cute. And she also sent some stitch markers that she made, and these have lucky cats and turtles on, so that is pretty cool. So fun fact about this lovely lady Blair, her and I became internet friends way before I became a knitter, way back when I was on Tumblr quite obsessively, and just before I got back into making friendship bracelets. So that was while I was still at uni. I was making friendship bracelets when I was on my year abroad, so that was in 2011. So maybe 2011 I first knew of her existence, and that's really weird to think about because that is now 7 years ago. I internet met her around the same time that Mario and I became officially boyfriend and girlfriend, and that's crazy to think about. So hey Blair. I don't know if you know that, and I'm sorry if that comes across as really creepy, but you know. Can't get over how good this tea is. And the final thing that I've acquired, but kind of I dyed it myself, so it's not really an acquisition. I dyed my sweater quantity for the pattern I'm going to be test knitting for Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn. So this is the colour I'm going to be using. This is Mero. This is on my Sturdy DK base. When I say my, I am the owner of The Corner of Craft, which is an online shop, and the dyer behind Chromatic Yarns. And Chromatic Yarns is yarn that is dyed in colours inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, I just threw the skein. So yes, I don't know if you can really see the colours that well. So it's like a dark denim-y blue with some lighter patches and then some areas of like a teal green colour, and I'm test knitting Tristan's sweater pattern for her for the Find My Way sweater, which I need to knit the swatch for at some point very soon. I just realised that when I mentioned that Becky had sent me this, I didn't actually talk about who Becky was. Becky of Soprano Knits, and the hostess of the String It Together podcast. You know who Becky is if you've watched this podcast before, because I mention her in every single one except for one, and that was quite a traumatic experience for me. So yes, and those are all the things that I've acquired. So just very quickly, so I got back from Edinburgh on Tuesday afternoon. It's currently Thursday. I've been trying to do as much beading as I can before Saturday's shop update. So this week is a stitch marker shop update. If you saw maybe a bit later about my yarn update, you'll be pleased to hear that I do still have some skeins of yarn available in my shop. I have quite a few autumnal and Halloweeny colourways, one of which is called Pumpkin King. I also have a few skeins of this on my DK base because I think this would be a beautiful hat. And so feel free to go and check that out if you haven't done already. But if not, these are some of the stitch markers that will be going into the shop. I usually try and get all my making done before my podcast so I can show you everything that's going to be in the shop. But you know what? I haven't had time. So I posted these on Instagram and it's received fantastic response. So I'd initially only made 3 because I tend to make 3 of each. I tend to go for a large variety over large quantities just because it's not any more interesting for you, but it gives you more choice. But yes, oh, this is gonna be fun. This tiny hedgehog I posted on Instagram. I'm just gonna focus it on my ring and then put this in the way. There we go. Yes, this received fantastic feedback, so I've decided to make a few more. So I'm gonna have more than 3 in the shop. They will all have lever back earring findings because I find them the best for removable stitch markers, progress keepers and the like. You can use them on your needles, you can use them on your knitting. They're my fave. So I've got a few of those. I've got some ghosties going in because Halloween is actually surprisingly soon, so you've got a little ghostie going in. The beads outlining the ghost are actually an iridescent grey, which I think is pretty cool and make it look a bit more mystical. And he's carrying a tiny pumpkin. Speaking of pumpkins, oh, such a good segue. I'm so good at segues. Speaking of pumpkins, got some more pumpkins going in the shop because these sell out every week or every fortnight. I've got some flower crown skulls going in. And they're pretty cool and smiley. And then I have some sharks going in. I fully intend on doing some more beading as soon as I've switched off this camera and have tidied up all my mess. Not all my mess because that would take too long, but my immediate mess. Yes, I completely intend on doing some more beading once I finish with this. So hopefully I'll have a few more in my shop than I currently have in my little box of stitch markers. I was thinking about doing some Halloweeny sheep, so some orange sheep or some fluorescent green sheep, because I think that would be cool. Maybe cool's the wrong word, but it's the word I'm going to use. And yeah, and like I say, I have some skeins of yarn in the shop still in a variety of bases, so that's pretty cool for all of you who were holding back. Oh, and one more thing. Speaking of Tristan from Dragon Horde Yarn, let me rearrange my feet because my feet go in dead because I'm an old lady now. Her and I are doing a cheeky little collab together. She has designed a gorgeous colourwork sock pattern. She has designed a sock kit to go with the pattern. So that will be a skein of yarns with the appropriate minis to make the colourwork sock. And also I have designed and made a cheeky little stitch marker. On both of our Instagrams we have shared the image of the pieces. I just got very distracted by my Shawl the Sheep backpack. I'm really sorry. So I just found Shawn a few times. And yes, so they will be going on sale tomorrow at 10 AM is it Mountain Standard Time? It's 5 PM GMT, or BST, sorry. So it's 5 PM London time. I know that for a fact because it's 7 hours difference between me and her. And they will be going on sale in her shop. And the theme is pumpkin spice latte, or pumpkin spice everything, or pumpkin everything. The stitch marker is a little takeaway pumpkin spice latte cup. So that's really cute. So that's very exciting. I know that a lot of people that are based in Europe get not frustrated, I'm going to use that word because I can't think of the other word, that when I do collabs like this with people that happen to be living in the States, they are often sold through their shop and not through mine shop. The reason for that is it is much cheaper for me to send over, I don't know, let's say 30 stitch markers in a small box. It's much cheaper for me to ship that over to them than it is for them to ship over 30 skeins of yarn to me. It would cost them a bomb. And yes, so I do understand. I have some plans to do some more collabs with people in the future, and they are more locally based. So I will keep you informed on that as and when. But that is all the knitting I have. Now I'm just going to briefly talk to you about some life stuff that's been happening. Mario and I have just got back from Edinburgh. A couple of our friends got married up there, so that was very exciting, and the wedding was beautiful, and I got sunburnt, but I think it's faded now because I'm just gone back to being pale. But yes, we had a really lovely time. The wedding overlapped with the beginning of Edinburgh Fringe Festival, so we hung around for a few days more, stayed with a couple of my friends, whom I stayed with for Edinburgh Yarn Festival the past 2 years, and we checked out some gigs and had a wander around, and it was so much fun. Saw Stephen K. Amos and I laughed a lot. I mean, it helped I'd already had a few ciders as well, but I did laugh a lot. It was really funny. And then what else has been happening? Oh, we've booked a venue and a date for our wedding. It's going to be happening next year, towards the end of next year. It's going to be like an autumn-winter wedding. So now we need to get planning with the rest of it. So it's very exciting, and that is all happening, and it's a little bit scary and real, but it's taken us long enough to get this far, so can't complain too much. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that is all that's been happening. It's not terribly interesting, is it? Just been dyeing a lot, beading a lot, getting used to self-employed life, getting in a routine, and yeah. I think that's it. I think that's everything I have to share. What a boring life I lead. Oh well. I hope that you enjoyed the podcast. If you did, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button below the video. It helps to get my videos out there into the YouTube sphere a bit more. It's a very competitive place, as I'm sure you're aware, especially as more and more every day new knitting podcasts are cropping up, and that is all very fun and exciting. But yes, hitting that thumbs up button, commenting on the video, and also subscribing to my channel helps to get my channel out there a bit more to more people. And as YouTube is a source of income for me, it's obviously, well, it's not obviously, but it is helpful that the more people that watch my videos, the more that helps me out financially. So thanks. I just don't want to sound like I'm begging for money, because I'm not. I'm just being blunt with you all. I'm just being straight with you all. The reason I put ads at the beginning and in the middle of my videos is because it means I get paid, you know? Okay, I'm gonna stop ranting. And yes, if you want to see my videos crop up in your home feed, subscription feed, whenever I post them, feel free to hit the little subscribe button below this video. And once you've hit that button, a little bell should crop up next to it. And if you'd like to receive a notification on your desktop or on your tablet or phone or whatever, to say when I upload a video or when I'm live streaming, because I also frequently live stream, then feel free to click that little bell and a little notification will pop through. No offense will be taken if you do none of these things. Mild offense will be taken if you do none of these things. I'm just joking, it's fine. We're past that, we're friends, you know? That was a little aggressive, I didn't mean that to be. My shop update is happening on Saturday at 4 PM BST. I feel like I forgot to say that. at the corner of craft.co.uk. So feel free to head on over there and get ready for that stitch marker update. And please don't forget to enter your finished objects into the FO thread for the 50k sweater cal, and also, why not, chatter away in the chatter thread and I'll draw some winners from there, because I love giving back. I love giving back. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.